Hi everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast at carcanada.ca. Okay, I gotta admit that was a lousy first effort on my first attempt at starting the car. Just attributable to being a little bit unfamiliar with this Italian beauty that's also carbureted, I might add. So today we have a 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV, but not just any 1980 Alfetta GTV. This one has been modified to the hilt, among many other things we'll get into through the video and of course on our detailed listing, is that this car has a V8 in it. Originally it was a V6, but a 2.6 liter V8 out of an Alfa Romeo Montreal has been installed into the car. So it makes 200 horsepower. Car's modified, being that it's got the Montreal engine in it, Alfa Romeo Montreal, in case you're not familiar with that model. And although the car is modified, the engine has not been modified. So a stock Alfa Romeo Montreal engine. So we've had it started. I think I'll pop the hood now. Then I'll grab the camera. We'll take a closer look at the engine while it's running, get a sound of the exhaust, and continue our tour of this 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV 5-speed manual transmission with the Alfa Romeo Montreal engine, a 2.6 liter V8. So I deliberately left that door open just because we're at the photographer's golden hour. We scheduled this shoot perfectly. Oh, maybe now the sun isn't shining on that driver's door quite as nicely, but the white paint, original color for this 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV is looking pretty sharp in the sun. Being that open doors can cause problems, I'm going to close it now. And we'll zoom into the very clean engine compartment of the 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV 5-speed manual with the Alfa Romeo Montreal engine. So we'll get in close. Let's listen to those belts. So you can see there with the 4 ignition cables on each side, we've got a V8 engine, relatively small displacement V8 engine at 2.6 liters, but not unlike what we see with Italian manufacturers. Certainly I can think of a Ferrari 308 to denote a 3.0 liter V8 engine. You see the GTV 8 engraved as well. So as I say, that's a stock Alfa Romeo Montreal V8 engine. You can see it's been really detailed, and it was installed in the car some years back. Check our detailed listing, please, for exact date, but I can tell you the odometer was reset at the time the build was completed, and the odometer shows under 7,000 kilometers today. So very low mileage since. So I'll zoom in on some of the components under the hood for you to have a good look. That engine cover also looking in nice shape. It really is hard to ignore this Alfa Romeo insignia on the hood, riveted in. And we've got some fluid reservoirs over here on this side. 4 ignition cables for the V8. And then Alfa Romeo emblazoned here on the valve cover. And of course on the top here as well. So we'll go have a listen to the exhaust at idle. Unfortunately, at idle, although it's a great sounding idle, we're not going to hear on this video how great it sounds while under load, but we did a few driving videos on the detailed listing. So take a look at those and you'll get a listen to how great this V8 sounds under load. So I think that'll about do it for the portion of the video where we need the engine running. So I'll cut the engine, we'll close the engine cover, and start our walk around tour. All right, so getting a good look at the 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV with 5-speed manual. We'll concentrate on the exterior for now, and we'll get into the modifications a little bit later for some and as we see them for others. So I'm going to start with a head-on look. Of course, as I was saying, great light at this time of day, and the white paint, I'm going to call it Blanco, being that it's an Italian car, but an effort was made to use the original color of the car. So it's still the original white, even though the car is being repainted. But at this time of day, boy, it really looks sharp, and the black and white sort of monochrome theme really pops in the light. You can see the familiar cross and snake for the Alfa Romeo with the triangle around it, and then the snake, the serpent here as well. So we've got the original 2 headlights on either side set up. We have a modification here in the form of the wheels. They're set of Romeo 15x7s in the front and 15x8s in the rear. So despite the staggered setup on the rims, the tires are the same size at all 4 corners. They're checking in at 205/50 R15 with a V-speed rating, and they're Bridgestone Potenza RE71 RS. So I see a lot of Bridgestone Potenza RE71s, but these are the RS, and you can see the tread on those is a little more track focused. I did notice a date code of 2022 on these, so considering the build occurred before that, but the car's only run 6,000 or 7,000 kilometers since, we're talking about very low mileage tires on here. Here's the familiar quadrifolio emblem for Alfa Romeo, and it's complemented by a racing team phrase there. You can see this black stripe going down the entire length of the car. But all in all, the exterior presentation is quite nice. I'll point out flaws as I see them, but I don't think I've seen too many on the exterior of the car. One thing, we won't call it a flaw, but we want to disclose it. There's an aftermarket, I'll say pop top glass sunroof. We didn't even open it up for the photos. I think the car is better presented with it closed. I do see though, as I'm looking closely at the sunroof, there is a depression here. Not sure if the camera's picking up this dent or not, but I've tried to put the coin just in front of it in case the camera can pick it up. So interesting window formation. There's a vent window on either door and the standard side windows you'd expect. And then the rear windows, there are 2 panes of glass. One of them goes down for the rear passengers. When we get inside the car, I'll show you how those are operated because it's slightly unconventional. Here's the fuel cap. We did take that off and shoot a photo of it with it off and the other side of it. No corrosion to see down there. A cool GTV emblem here behind that fuel door. Here's a good look at the Romeo 15x8 on the driver's side rear, matching Bridgestone Potenza RE71 RS in 205/50 R15 with the V-speed rating. And there's the 2022 date code for the rear. Walking around the car here. Pretty cool spoiler on the rear. The fact that it's black sort of adds to that monochrome white or black on white color scheme. It's important to note the Euro bumpers here. So pretty slim line for a 1980. The domestically sold ones would have had a bulkier bumper. Now I mentioned earlier about the 2.6 liter V8 engine out of a Alfa Romeo Montreal. Just a single exhaust for it to breathe with. The seller informs us that that engine was rated at 200 horsepower. And as I said earlier, he's not done anything to modify it. So he's modified the car, but the engine is stock out of an Alfa Romeo Montreal with the single pipe. He mentioned it was an Italian specialty shop in Ottawa that did the exhaust all the way from the manifold through the back. I already encouraged you once to listen to watch the driving videos, but listen to the exhaust in it. There's just something about an Italian exhaust, and this car's got it, no doubt about it. One flaw I did notice here on this lens for the indicator, there's a crack in that. It was actually sealed with a piece of putty when we started our film shoot, but it appears, oh, maybe it's the brake light that was. That's what I saw earlier. So it looks like both of these lenses are pierced. This one's got the putty in it, and then this one does not. But here's a good look at the profile of that spoiler. Pretty neat unit. There's an emblem here on the rear, and a few neat sort of race focused stickers here, the Nürburgring, a local touch with Mosport, and then a fairly local as well, although on the other side of the border for Watkins Glen. Cool formation of the lines for the rear defrost too. Here's a good look at the rear of the car with that center mounted, I guess it's just off center mounted single exhaust pipe. There's a tow hook down here on the right side. There's a good look at the tread on the track focused tires. And over here on the right side, taillight lenses. I don't see any imperfections there. I'm not going to call them perfect, but I don't see the piercings like I did on the other side. Nice Alfa Romeo emblem here on the base of the spoiler. I'll pan out a little bit, and you can see that same GTV emblem here on the passenger's rear quarter panel. And here's a good look at the profile of that slimline Euro bumper, finished in chrome with a black strip. A little sharper than the bulkier ones we had in North America in 1980. Good look at the Ronal 15x8 on the passenger's rear. Again, Bridgestone Potenza RE71 RS in 205/50 R15, a V rating. One thing I noticed on the wheels, being that the rears are an inch wider, you can see there's wheel data right there on the exterior exposed on the wheel. I'll come back to this part, but just to differentiate it, you can see here on the front, on the 7-inch wide wheel, there isn't that same wheel data. So another look at how the windows open here. So we've got two panes for the rear. The front one opens. Your standard open for the front, or for the door window, and then the door window is finished with a vent openable window. Color coded, well, I suppose I'll say with the contrasting black on both sides for the dual mirrors. And here's that same stripe working its way down the right side of the car, the passenger side. And a close look at the Ronal wheel here on the passenger's front. Again, 15x7 for the Ronal. Bridgestone Potenza RE71 RS in 205/50 R15 with a V rating and a 2022 date code. Very low mileage since that time. I'll get low here, and you can see the front spoiler. It's kind of set up in two pieces here. And even that looks to be in very nice condition. No marks on it that I can see with my naked eye, although the camera's getting a better angle of it than my naked eye is right now. You can see an indicator light here on the front of the fender. I skipped over the quadrifoglio on the passenger's front fender, but there it is. And we'll get another look at the car kind of at the end of the photographer's golden hour, but still looking quite striking with the white, with a black on white monochrome theme. I just can't get enough of this car, especially in this light. So I'm going to walk around it one more time, a little more quickly, and you can get another good look at it too. Those of you who are at our most recent Cars and Coffee event on June 7th at Haggerty Garage and Social might have got a look at this car because it turned up at that event. We were happy to have it there. And we did have all interesting cars were welcome, of course, but we were running a Ford Motor Company and Mustang theme that day. So this one really stood out. It stands out as it is, but at a Ford focused show, it really did. Okay, so I'll wrap up the exterior portion now. We'll move to the interior of the car. All right, Italian heritage of the early 80s in evidence all over the place here. I'm gonna wrap right around the front of the cabin, starting with this door card. You can see the latch release for the door there, your standard armrest. And we've got 3 controls up here. You can see that crank for the conventional window in the door. Up 4 of that is the remote control for the side mirror mounted on the door. And this rotary dial, that's for the vent window. You can see that vent window closing it as I spin it around. But these cars always look cooler with the vent window open, so I'm gonna leave it open. Some non-factory mats, but good protective mats. The carpet underneath is in nice condition. We have some photos of it on our detailed listing. The seats. So the seats, you might think, oh boy, those are big bolsters for 1980, and you'd be right. The seats for this car are out of an Alfa Romeo Milano Verde. So that's a later sedan. I would expect it would have been an early 90s car that the seats were taken from, both front and rear. But I'll climb in and we'll have a look at the instrumentation. Also a little bit, I'll say unconventional, but I mean that in a good way. Center mounted tach, so very driver focused certainly. And you can see that it's got a maximum reading of 10,000 RPM. And then in the center is where we find the speedometer with a few other gauges. And there you can see that the odometer is under 7,000 kilometers. Now, as I said earlier, it's important to remember that that odometer was reset at the time of the build some years ago. We've got the details about that on our detailed listing. And but it's important to note that since this Alfa Romeo Montreal 2.6 liter V8 was installed and rebuilt, the car has rolled fewer than 7,000 kilometers. Accessory gauges to the right of the Speedo include oil pressure, a fuel level gauge, and coolant temperature. A more modern JVC AM, FM, CD, MP3 player is in place. If you want to check the specs of it, the model is KD-R200. And we've got some ventilation controls here. No air conditioning in the car, but a heater and some vents as well. Down here in the console, looks like we've got some Collector Car Canada propaganda, corporate propaganda. Actually, this dash card came from our Cars and Coffee that I mentioned. We like to give those out to the attendees, and they can put them in their dash just to give some information about the car. And then, of course, we've got our emblem down here. And on the other side, it looks like this owner was unlucky enough to not get our YouTube handle on there. We've got some with and some without. This must be one of the old ones. But a little bit of storage space here. Here's a couple of magnets as well. And then the shifter. Shifter, the actual knob itself is wooden with the Alfa Romeo Milano inscription on there. With the lighting, it's a little difficult to get that red, but there it is. It's a vinyl shifter boot, and just full disclosure, there is a tear in it here and some decay here. I think for what this car is, if I were buying it, I might replace that boot with a leather unit, especially considering its Italian heritage. But over here on the right, or on the left rather, to the left of the steering wheel, you can see a spray for the windscreen and a choke. Carbureted engine, as you might expect from an Italian V8 in the early 70s. And there's the defrost as well. Here's the hood release, turn signals, and lights. And working our way across, there is a little bit of simulated wood grain. And that extends over here to the passenger side. There's several personal items in the glove box there, so I'm not going to open it right now, but there are photos of it on the detailed listing. And underneath a little shelf for passengers. The only thing I think I missed in this centerpiece here is that lighter. We took it out and had a picture, no evidence of it ever lighting any cigarettes, but that's in place for a 12-volt outlet in modern times. And the handbrake is set with the matching vinyl boot to the shifter. And then over here for the passenger door, you see the same controls, the rotary dial for the vent window, the crank for the standard window, and then that remote control for the side mirror, which matches that on the driver door. It's probably worth showing off these aluminum pedals. Pretty cool, 3 pedals for the 5-speed transmission. And then into the rear, we've got a matching rear bench. I'd say it's made for 2 people, not 3. But again, that's out of an Alfa Romeo Milano, early 90s, and the Verde trim. And to complete the look for the audio system, there are some rear speakers. We've got close-ups of those in the detailed listing if you want to check out brand and spec for those. The headliner in nice shape. I'm going to call it vinyl, and a couple of ingress egress handles for the rear passengers, and there is a rear defrost in place. And it's probably worth showing off these seats. So the recline function is manual, operated with these rotary dials on the sides of the seats. So I think that's a pretty good look at the interior. You can see the parcel shelf there with those speakers, as I said. Same thing with the trunk though, or the hatch. There are a number of personal items in there. We do have photos of it in our detailed listing if you want to take a look at it. It's also where the battery is stored, if in case keen observers noticed we didn't see a battery under the hood. It's mounted in the trunk to help out with balance. But that's a good look at the interior of the 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV with a 2.6 liter V8 engine out of an Alfa Romeo Montreal. In case I didn't see a 5-speed manual, I'm going to say it now. In case I did, I just repeated it. On to some closing. And there's a good look at our 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV 5-speed manual with the 2.6 liter V8 engine out of an Alfa Romeo Montreal. Good for 200 horsepower, and that 5-speed manual gets the power to the rear wheels. Again, there are some aftermarket Romeo wheels that are more period correct than your typical brand new wheel. 7 inches in the front, 8 inches in the rear, with 205/50 R15s at all 4 corners. Date coded 2022 and a V speed rating. There are a lot more mechanical details on the detailed listing, so please do take a look at it. There are just so many of them and specific to this car that I must confess I don't know them off the top of my head. I'm sure you're able to tell that we shoot these videos without a script. But please do take a look at the detailed listing. We're going to flash the lot number on the screen. We'll superimpose it on the screen. You'll find it at collectorcarcanada.ca. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car. Oh, I almost forgot. Best news about this 1980 Alfa Romeo Alfetta GTV is that it's being sold at no reserve. So the high bidder next Tuesday, I can talk about auction on this one because it's not going to buy it now. The highest auction bidder next Tuesday is going to take the car home for the highest bid amount. We do have the overtime system in place to avoid anti-sniping. Take a look at the How It Works page about that. We just add a minute and a half to the clock if there's a bid with the clock showing less than a minute and a half remaining. But being that there's no reserve on this, don't worry about the second chance and the last chance system. But for our reserve auctions, please do take a look at how those work. They're a fun little thing that helps get cars sold. We did sell a Mercedes that way last week. So again, those are the second chance and last chance systems spelled out on the How It Works page on collectorcarcanada.ca. I'm going to repeat my sign off. Thank you for watching, and on to the next car.